Welcome to another exciting episode of Gallia Kills Everything, the #1 rated daily weather program in Metropolis, where Gallia kills everything. Today we are down here in the Metropolis Battlezone with one of our remote correspondents, and that's going to be Garnet. Garnet Kimone is an aspiring yellow lantern, a Gemini, and she's into cats, folks. Watch out for her. Rawr. So, we're down here today fighting the Unyielding Hawkman. Hawkman is very angry, and he is here to make a fuss about it. Oh boy! Well, how can we deal with this situation? Now, something to bear in mind right off the bat here, this is an older bounty, Metropolis Battlezone. Battlezone era bounties don't generally have quite as many mechanics, but they can still have quite a lot of punch. As you can see here, the Unyielding Hawkman is using that big mace, and he's using mostly two-hand weapon. Now, that's going to provide you with some limited counter opportunities, and I say limited because usually you'd have some space to get around that, but he loves that doom spin, and the way the computer uses the doom spin ability, it doesn't have the same wind-up time that yours does. He just goes right in there and starts whooping your butt. Now, what are we going to do in this situation? The first thing you need to do is find him, and these bounties are a little trickier to locate. You want to fly around inside of the given area that you'll be looking for. The unyielding or willful bounties are going to be inside of the green mist area, and anything that's a hopeful bounty will be over inside of the azure mist area. You can usually see a large column of green or blue light as appropriate to the type of bounty. At that point in conversation, track that guy down, give him a walloping, and see how it goes. Most of these bounties, as stated, are outdated because they don't have a tremendous amount of secondary ability or mechanics involved in them. It's literally just a fight. But in this situation, he still does have really, really solid output. So you do want to make sure that you've got decent built-in mitigation. In fact, this particular situation, I had to stop after my last bounty and retool the way she's working. That way she could have enough mitigation to live through this fight. That does mean he's a bit of a contender, folks. Now, why am I doing all this? There are feats associated with collecting these particular bounties. The prize is not quite as beneficial or as nice as the prize you get in later areas. This is still kind of early in the whole bounty train experience, but there are a bunch of these different guys here. In fact, this particular area has more bounties than pretty much anywhere else in the game. There's 8 bounties apiece on villain side and hero side both that are limited to relatively basic fighters, and then of course there's also the iconic big bounties of the area that you'll see later in the War of Light 3 content, and that's going to be that good old Superman and that dastardly Dr. Light. Those two fights used to be almost impossible way back in the day, and I don't mean impossible for a solo, I just mean they were incredibly difficult all the way around. Obviously, being that this is past the House of Legends update and into early endgame it goes, not really that hard these days. You could definitely get in there and get some solo work done, and it's a good way to refamiliarize yourself with some of the older content. Now, as we get down there, we can see he's still plugging away, folks. He's just smacking. Mostly, you're going to want to try, and I say try to apply the counters where you can, but bear in mind some of the things that he's going to do are going to make it difficult, so make sure you have at least a little mitigation built into your back end, some shields, and maybe even a little bit of healing. As you can see, I'm a lantern here, and I'm still using a clarion and a precision build instead of doing it the old-fashioned way with that hard light chainsaw. Well, that's all for us today, folks. Thank you for tuning in for another wonderful episode of Gallia Kills Everything. Good fight. Good night.